It went down to the wire in the individual portion of the women's NCAA championship. Wake Forest sophomore Jennifer Kupcho had a two-shot lead at this point. Her second at the par 4 17th, though, found the water. She would make triple. Meanwhile, Arizona State senior Monica Vaughn had this par putt at her closing hole of the night to capture the individual national title, becoming the 6th Arizona State Sun Devil to do so. Over on the team side, Kent State down to the wire for the Golden Flashes. Michaela Finn draining this par putt to advance Kent State to match play. All the highlights and analysis right now on Golf Central.
Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
Rich Harvest Farms, 40 miles west of downtown Chicago, has been the site of some great events over the years. In 2009, it saw the Americans defeat Europe in the Solheim Cup. And for the next 2 weeks, it's playing host to the men's and women's Division I NCAA Golf Championships. Welcome to our home on site. We're thrilled to be here. Lisa Cornwell, Paige McKenzie, Amanda Blumenhurst. We could go on and on about your accolades during your college years at Washington and Duke. 7-time All-Americans. Between the three of us, they also had 7 between the two of them. Look, Paige, it's really hard to do what Monica Vaughn did today. She did get some help, but look, she was 4 shots back with 4 to play. The field came back to her a little bit with Jennifer Kupcho, but then, look, she was stellar on her last few holes.
It was impressive, really just hanging in there and staying with it, not knowing where she was on the golf course. And I think that's one of the key lessons that we all learned today is you just got to stay persistent and in your own game. Never know what's going to happen.
I'm still shaking. Like, I was watching her and I was putting myself in her shoes because we've been there. All 3 of us have been there. You've been over that 6-foot putt and you have your team watching you and you just know that there's something special going on. And the ACC, I still remember the ACC tournament, I had to make a 6-foot putt for Duke to win and actually to win individually. And I still remember that because of those nerves and feelings. So I'm actually shaking for her. It was so exciting.
I have stood over those 6-footers. Unfortunately, they are usually 4 apart. Let's take you to, we're going to get to the team competition because it was a big day for the teams as well. But our focus right now is on this individual champion. Let's start with the highlights of the ladies who were playing for windy conditions at Rich Harvest Farms today, and so much so you can see it just flew over Leona McGuire's bag.
The story of the week was these weather conditions.
No doubt about it. Let's stay with McGuire, a junior from Duke, here at the par 5 18th, which is her closing, or actually it was her 9th hole because she started on 10.
Yeah, and this is a difficult golf hole because you have to make choices off the tee. In that case, she put herself in good position. She was able to go for this green in 2.
Not an easy 2-putt, but she would get it done and get to +4. Now at the par 4 3rd, this for birdie.
She's the #1 player in the country for a reason. For putts like this, she is a machine. Great, solid game and a great putter.
She went out early because her Blue Devils weren't doing well, so she was the clubhouse leader at that point at +2. The overnight leader, meanwhile, Jennifer Kupcho from Wake Forest, getting her day going.
Yeah, and on the first hole, a very difficult starting hole. Not a bad chip shot, considering how much break was in that.
She would say par and remain at even, up by 2. Now at the par 5 second, her second from 167.
Talk about bombing it off the tee. She had 167 yards into a par 5 and knocks it to about 30 feet, so all she has to do is 2-putt for birdie.
She would get that done and get to -1, increasing her lead to 3 shots at that point. Let's stay with her now at 9 for birdie.
And she just seems to be cruising. This is not a surprise for those following women's NCAA golf. She's 2nd in national scoring average.
So her lead now with that birdie is 4. She's at 2 under for the championship. Cruising along, this for par 12.
Been working on her putting, and she was just making them left and right today. Really impressive.
Keeps her at -2 and still up by 4. Now at 14, a little awkward lie.
Yeah, it was a difficult pitch shot. Nearly runs by the hole, but leaves herself a difficult par save.
She was bogey-free up to this point, so try way.
And she gets it close. You think you're going to make it. Oh, and it dies just at the end off to the left.
So let's go to 17. Kupcho still at 1 under and still with a 3-shot lead. This is just devastating.
It's a mistake you don't expect any leader to make, especially someone that was in control of her game all day long. Very costly.
And especially considering it was 129 yards, although there are times, and you guys know, you can't feel those winds.
No, and it is the most difficult golf hole on the golf course, this for bogey.
And this is where nerves are coming in. She powers that through, doesn't give herself an easy putt coming back at all. And she ends up not making that putt, which is devastating. Triples, and now she's back to 2 over.
All right, meanwhile, Arizona State senior Monica Vaughn taking advantage, +3 at this point, here at 6 for birdie.
Not necessarily knowing what's going on the other side of the golf course, but staying in it. Excellent birdie there.
Okay,
Getting fired up.
And why not? And her coach there, Missy Farquet, giving her a little high five. That got her to +2. Then at the par 5 7th, another birdie try from short range.
I love how she keeps her head down and then gives it a little body language, a little body English to sneak it in.
All Smiles taking the lead at that point at 1 over. So we're going to 18. How would Kupcho respond, feeling the pressure?
So difficult to recover after that triple bogey, and actually lucks out here and it isn't in the long grass. Still alive to try to make that birdie.
And that is the worst feeling in the world, knowing what you need to do and then to watch it get away from her. Then after punching out her third from 191, not an easy shot.
No, she made the right play by punching out, but the third shot runs back and through the collar, giving her a very difficult chip shot coming up.
So a decision to make exactly how to play that shot. She would settle with this choice, now her 4th from here.
Yeah, you can see just how difficult that lie is. Using a lofted club, it gets a little caught up behind the ball. Now this for par.
Yeah, and she would make the par to post +2, tying McGuire in the clubhouse. But you got to remember, there's Monica Vaughn. She's making birdies while other people are falling. She did par 8, now at 9, her final hole of the day. Second shot from 109.
This is out of the rough. This is so impressive. It releases, and it releases right up the hole onto the top plateau. And now she only needs a 2-putt to win the NCAA individual title.
And look, we say that that's an easy putt. It's not. That's not a tap-in. A 3-footer, you want it to win a national title, right? But there still is some pressure that goes with it.
You know how much this means to her.
The fist pump. I always love a good fist pump. And the team cheering in the background. She's got it. She made it. She's the national champion.
And the 6th player from Arizona State. What a storied program. I got a text message from Linda Volstad, the longtime coach there, earlier today. I bet I'm going to, after Monica's performance, because what a victory this was for her. 6 players again, the first since Azahara Munoz did it in 2008. Jennifer Kupcho, well, she was the person at this point that we thought that we would be talking about. Instead, it is Monica Vaughn. 2 wins in her last 8 collegiate starts. You can see there 6 top 3s, 13 rounds under par. I mean, that is the definition of consistency in golf, which ultimately is the goal.
Yeah, and this is a key player for the Arizona Sun Devils. I talked to her coach earlier this morning and asked, how was today for the team? And she said, well, I told the team, don't think about all the pressure. I know it's going to be a lot on your shoulders. And I said, well, how does Monica handle that? She goes, well, she kind of likes it. She's the kind of player that wants that pressure, and she showed up today in the biggest moments.
She obviously does love the pressure. She won the Lubbock Regionals, and that is a huge stage because you're needing to get your team into regional or into nationals by playing well in regionals, and ASU didn't do that last year. So there was that little bit of a pressure, and she obviously now really excels in that situation, having won regionals and now having won nationals.
You both talked with Missy this morning, and you mentioned how just sort of light she was. She had this energy, this smile, because Arizona State needed a big day as a team. From a player's perspective, when your coach has that mindset and that attitude, how does it set you up for the day ahead?
It helps a lot, and I'll give a lot of credit to Missy because she talked a little bit about what Monica was going through at the beginning of the spring season. She was a senior. She was going to be graduating, trying to decide to turn pro, what she wanted to do post-college. And she said, Monica, you don't have to make a decision right now. Enjoy this. Enjoy your spring season. And not only did she enjoy it, she went out and won NCAA regionals as well as the NCAA championship. A lot of credit to the coaching as well.
Because players can really feel that. Players can feel how the coaches are feeling. It rubs off for sure. There is an energy that exudes from coaches, whether they're on a par 3 or they're walking with you. And we saw her walking with Monica the last couple holes, and they're laughing, they're high-fiving. They might be talking what kind of their favorite color, kind of ice cream is, or what they're going to have for dinner tonight. Just keeping it really relaxed makes a huge difference. So I give Missy so much credit for keeping it light, not just for Monica, but for her entire team.
Well, while it was a celebration for Monica and the entire team, a bit of a disappointment for Jennifer Kupcho. Let's go down to Chantel McCabe for the first time tonight and get more on this very talented player from Wake Forest.
Jennifer, a flawless front 9, but then some trouble at 17 with the triple. What exactly happened on that hole?
I got over the ball. The wind kind of died down a little bit. I hit the shot exactly how I wanted. I hit it as slow as I could. Just came up a couple feet short. There's nothing I could do. I hit it as best as I could. So,
what was your strategy throughout the day? Were you watching the scoreboard?
I had no idea how I was doing until number 13. And at that point, I knew pretty much everyone was in with +2. And then I actually didn't know coming down 18 that she was at +1. So, but there's no way I would have been able to hit that out of the hazard and try and get it up by the green. So there's nothing I could do. I was just trying to do the best I could, yeah.
I know the emotions are raw right now, but given everything that's happened to you this last semester, how proud are you for how far you've reached?
I'm really proud. I recovered from that concussion exactly how everyone thought I was going to and just came out stronger. It's unfortunate that it came down to this, but I'll get over it. So come back next year, hopefully.
It's great to see her smiling and sort of laughing about that because a very difficult moment. Like anybody who's played sports, you know what it's like for that to happen. But when you think about the second half of her season, her resiliency to come back from the concussion, look, it's amazing. 2.5 years ago, she was ranked 1,134th in the amateur rankings. She's now 13th.
It is so impressive. And also her stroke average has improved tremendously since in just 1 year. So she's just going to continue to keep getting better. And also I think she's going to really learn from this experience. She's going to pull hopefully the positives out of it because it can be very devastating and heartbreaking. You can be heartbroken for something like this, but she seems to have a great attitude, and I expect great things from her the next couple of years.
The one thing I think a lot of people are going to remember is obviously the triple bogey, but what I took away from watching her play is she walked into this round knowing what she had to do. Leona McGuire had posted, it was all about what Jennifer Kupcho could do today. It was her against herself. Yeah. And for the most of the day, she was completely in control. And that's what I'm taking away from it, is that you're starting to see blossoming of what could be a really great champion down the road.
Yeah, it's an excellent point because minus that one hole, you're exactly right, going head-to-head with Leona McGuire, and she was right there. We thought that she had it, but still congratulations to both players. And down the stretch in these very difficult conditions, it wasn't just the individuals out there fighting, it was also the teams trying to make the top 8 and advance to match play. We'll update you on that. Plus, we're going to hear from our individual national champion. She's joining us, Monica Vaughn, live on set. And we mentioned that move to match play. We're getting set for the quarterfinals and semis tomorrow, and then the championship match on Wednesday. Golf Central's back in just a moment.
Golf Central is brought to you by Titleist, the #1 ball at the AT&T Byron Nelson. Comcast Business, built for business.